Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert. So, I'm actually about a little over halfway through a speed build that I've been working on, but I don't think I'm going to have it done in time for this week. So, we're going to go ahead and switch over. Now that we have flux networks, now that we have easy transferable power for us, we're going to do a little side project. We are going to be switching back over to farming here soon, but for right now, until I get the speed build done, I don't want to go over there. And I've been working on a little something, just laying out some tables for us. Before we get rolling on that, of course, we do have these two gates completed, and I'm not turning these in just yet until I decide exactly what I want to take from those. But over here, actually additions, we didn't turn these in last episode. We did get the crusher. You know, it was used to craft the pulverizer. And so we do have that quest completed. Thermal expansion, I did make a resonant upgrade kit between episodes, so we do have that quest completed. And chances are, once we make a redstone furnace, we're going to have quite a few of these other ones completed as well. And then down in Ender IO, our capacitors, we did complete those quests. So I want to go ahead and turn those in really quick before we get started. First up, we got a block of emerald. Next up, we got an empty beacon. Then we got resonating gems, 4 of those. I will definitely take those. And then we got a dragon fruit sapling. Considering the fact we already have all the PAM stuff in place, it's not that important for us. And then over here, I did go ahead and set up to make a cat assembler. We're going to go ahead and grab that. And we're going to go ahead and grab an iron cat assembly. And we're going to complete a gate. If we pop over to here, one of our final gates. We got just a few more. We might go ahead before too long and push these out of the way, though. This one, I'm not looking forward to doing just yet. Probably not until we get into 82, I don't imagine. But we're going to get a loot chest from that. Now, there is no quest line for Psi. There's not a whole lot to Psi except just making spells, and a lot of them are kind of cool. A lot of them are kind of a letdown. We did get some Nutella from that quest. We're probably not going to do a whole lot of Psi. I've done it a couple times. I've done a bit with it back in my Direwolf series and stuff, but it's just not a mod that I'm all that crazy about, to be honest. One of the few Vasky mods that I'm not that crazy about. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to take our Iron Cat assembly and just drop it in there, and we're going to get a casting assistant device. We're not going to do anything else with this at the moment. And then to get, if we pop over to Psi, what does it take to get Psi dust in this pack? Is it normally, it's normally redstone, but yeah, it's just redstone. Okay. I've got a little bit of redstone over here, but redstone, of course, being one of the things I'm a little bit low on, but I do have a little bit over here. We're going to drop that on the ground, we're going to shoot it, and boom, we leveled up. And there's this, we're going to go ahead and just learn it. This basically tells you about all the different things that you can learn through Psi. I've covered it, like I said, I've covered it in depth back in my old Direwolf series, but basically you can learn things. There's a lot of reading involved, and there's a lot of mechanics to each of these, because you get these like tricks and stuff, and basically you can make spells. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and just do that, and we're going to get a spell programmer. So yay. Now technically what I want to do with this Psi dust I can do with, or what I want to do with Psi I can do with just Psi dust, but we're going to push on just a little bit into Psi. Oh yeah, we've actually got to do a couple things before we get to what I actually want. I think it's around level 8 or something. But we're going to go ahead and pick Selector Caster, Trick Debug, and we're going to set target is going to be the caster. And our spell is set up, but I think we are going to need to make a better CAD device. So we're going to need to make ourselves all the different pieces, which is going to be, we're going to have our basic CAD, but we're also going to need the battery and the core and all that stuff. So let me just get this crafted up real quick. It's like default recipe, it seems like, so it's not going to be too expensive for us. But we're just going to go with basic stuff. Basic CAD core. Let's get a CAD socket. That's why we made a little bit of Psi dust to get started, because we're going to use just a little bit. CAD battery. And that's going to be it. These are colorizers. We're not going to use that. We are going to need a spell bullet also, so let's go ahead and just grab that. Alright, so let's go ahead, throw in all of our, maybe it's through here. Yeah, there we go, Iron Cat Assembly. We're going to break that down and throw that back in. And that's the spot for the colorizer. We don't need that. And we're going to go ahead and take our new casting assistant device, which actually has an assembly, a core, a socket, and a battery. So this is basically, it just allows us, the cores, the sockets, the batteries, and even the assembly have different stats: efficiency, potency, complexity, projection, and basically they can buff your spells, or make them, more effective, less mana cost, stuff like that. If you look over on the right, you will see my mana bar. It says 100 there at the bottom, and 5,000, which is a lot more than I remember it having, so I don't know. I'm not sure, but it has been a while since I've done a lot with size. So, and then let's see. We're gonna take our spell bullet, and I think it's shift. No, just right click, and we can see. I thought we could see it in there, but maybe not. We're gonna go ahead and put our debug spell into there that we made just a moment ago. Totally out of order, but that's all right. Now we can click, and we're gonna level up. Oh, whoops. And so we're going to take the, we're going to go ahead and hit learn, and we got constant number and connector at this point. So let's go ahead. So I guess what we'll do is we'll put our number, say right here. Let's put our constant number to, say, I don't know, 5. And then we'll do a connector, connect down, I believe. Then number connects in like that. But if we hit that, it's going to tell us 5, and it's just going to print a bunch of like random junk with our coordinates. And then, okay, and gets an entity's look vector. But we have to use the add motion trick. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and just get rid of all this stuff. Get rid of that trick, and we're going to set in, oh wait. Let me actually learn this. There we go. And we're going to set in the add motion trick. We need a target, which is going to be our caster. We need a direction, and this is going to be, let's see, this is going to be, oh, right here I'm going to do a connector that connects down. We're going to say the target is going to be, so we're going to, the direction is going to be the direction that the entity is looking, which is the caster. The target for the add motion trick is going to be also the caster, and the speed is going to be a constant number of 4. There we go. Okay, so then we can take and steal back our spell bullet, right click that, drop it in, and do our debug spell. And now, well, now I'm out of mana, of course, but you can see I get like a little burst of speed, and I'm not gonna be able to, I got burnout right now, so I'm not gonna be able to cast any spells. But if we stand here and I click it, you can see it's extremely costly on mana, but we're able to kind of shoot ourselves forward. Alright, so moving on, now we have the explode trick, and we have to use the explode trick. And then we also get entity position, vector, raycast, and suppressor. Let's go ahead and take that. Alright, so we're going to need to use the explode. Okay, I just ran through basically the little tutorial bits and got us up to the psi metal infusion. We're going to go ahead and take that. And if we put in now, let's find it here, infusion, and honestly, I don't even think we need anything beyond that. So we'll just right click, grab that, and now, if I was to throw a little bit of gold on the ground, there we go, and we got some psi metal ingots. And we'll go ahead and just take the next one. There is greater infusion, which we will probably end up needing, I think. Because that's going to be to make like our ivory and ebony psi metal, or yeah, trick ebony and ivory. Yeah, we're going to need to push on for that. I'm sure at some point, I imagine we use this. Yes, ultimate ingots, we're going to need it, and same with ivory. Also for the creative CAD assembly, which actually, since that's available, Psi might be kind of fun to mess around with later on. I think the biggest thing that holds back Psi is you can make some really cool spells, but you generally don't have enough mana to do a whole lot with it, which is a little bit of a bummer. But anyways, we have Psi metal. That's what I'm actually after at the moment. And I need to make up a couple hammerheads out of Psi metal. Okay, I got those made. I didn't want to show you because it's right by the speed build, but just poured out hammerheads. We're going to get ourselves a couple shape card quarries, or we have access to them. But before we do that, let's go ahead. Let's grab, we got 4 builders. Of course, these are really cheap to make now that we can just replicate, basically just replicate more or less these builders. And we are going to complete a quest here. We're going to get a loot chest from that. And we're going to get random animal spawn eggs. Now if we come up shape cards, we're going to go ahead and grab 4 of those. Some of them are for projects we may or may not get to today, but I just wanted to go ahead and knock them out while I was making these. And we're going to get some white stained glass, 64 of that. Now if we come over, oh, I didn't need that many shape cards though, because we don't need shape cards for the quarries. That's fine. That's okay. We're going to grab 2 shape card quarries. And when does... they want us to make a void shape card. Do we want to go ahead and do that just to get... We're not going to be using this because we're at a point now where we can make builders, not an issue. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we'll go ahead and get ourselves just a void card with one of those. And like I said, I don't need it, but it's there if we do decide that we need it. And there we go. There's our builder quarry. So that goes ahead and finishes out this little quest section here for RF tools. We're going to get ourselves some honey soy ribs, and we are going to get ourselves another hamster wheel. Okay, so we got our shape card quarries. I'm going to go ahead and turn these though into clearing quarries. I don't want just standard quarries because they make everything dirt, and I don't really want that. Alright, and just while we're over here, let's go ahead and turn one of these into a placing liquids shape card, and then we've got a regular shape card. I want that also, and then I'm also going to want to grab some pure daisies. We may make some more of these. You may know where I'm going with this because our last time in Enigmatica I did a setup like this, but I absolutely love it. It's just so good in this pack. But in the event that you don't know where I'm headed with that, that's okay. We're going to get to it before too long. Alright, so now that we've got this stuff, just clear out my inventory here just a little bit. I'm going to be running the quarry. That's the first thing I want to set up, is just a quarry that's getting us materials, because I'd like to move into some things before too long, but they do require a lot of materials. And I want to start, I think, quarrying out spaces for materials for us. Now, one thing I'm wondering about though, Deep Dark Portal takes litherite, takes draconium, it takes iridium, it takes sextuple compressed cobblestone. I think we can actually pull this off. I do believe. Let me go check. I need to actually speed up this little cobble gen that's back here. You guys may have forgotten about it. I wouldn't blame you if you had. Yeah, we've got sextuple. So, yeah, let's go ahead and just take 4 of those. I guess we're going to set it up in the Deep Dark. I wasn't originally anticipating that. I was originally anticipating like Twilight Forest, but Deep Dark, I think, how well? It's 0.06 for draconium. But I'm kind of curious the rates. I think the Deep Dark is actually like the highest source of draconium. It is going to be low in the ground, but that's okay. I imagine, and then of course there's that. We're going to get into that before too long, but I imagine that the Deep Dark is probably rich with resources, if I had to guess. Okay, I think we've got everything that we need. I went ahead and had to go mine some draconium, but that's not a big deal for us. Let's go ahead and get our deep dark portal, which may complete a quest, maybe not. Utilities. There is a quest, but we need GP generation 3 for making the dragon egg meal, which we just haven't got around to yet. That's fine. Our deep dark portal. It's pretty much just going to be a quarry dimension. So I'm going to set it up over here, since it's just going to plug into this building, which will be our ore processing building before too long. For right now, I'm just going to set it over here. I'm going to adjust the placement just slightly. It's going to go up a floor. I think this is the floor that's going to have our ore processing. I think. Or it might be a little bit higher, but we'll see. But let's go ahead and just stand on this. And this is going to take us into the deep dark. Alright. So, just update that lighting there. Yeah, flight works. Okay, I didn't really bring any torches with me. Let me just steal some of these, though. That's fine. We're not going to be spending a lot of time in here. And then, let's go ahead and just dig down. I'm going to mark this as home. Oh, our pickaxe is pure awesome now. There's the outside. Okay. I knew we had to be getting close. Alright, so we're just going to drop down to say right here. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. Okay, let's set up our builder. Actually going to go ahead and mark these areas just so creepers won't ever get us. We're going to go ahead and set up our builder here. And then, let me trash some of this. I think we can chunk load this just with our flux point. So I'm going to set this on right there. We're going to go ahead and select our network. And that's going to start feeding power into this. We're going to set this up, the clearing quarry, and not too worried about digging out the upper sections, just focusing on these lower sections. So let's go. We're going to come out over to here. Oh, wait. I got to start it on the builder. That's right. Oh, no. Not install module. Shift right click. Then we're going to come out. I'm going to start it out right here. And that'll be our first corner. Our second corner, we're going to come out a little ways here. I'm thinking here. That's going to be our second corner. And then we have to drop down the Y level. Right now we're at Y70. I definitely don't want that. So let's just right click. We're going to say solid box. Let's go ahead and install that. We're going to set up an ender chest system. And this is going to be setting... we'll just put it here. We're going to color this gray, gray, gray. And I'm also going to set up on our flux points. Let's turn on chunk loading. And that should be good. And then this will chunk load whatever it's mining. So as long as this stays chunk loaded, which it will, that should be good for us. And then let's go ahead and just run item conduit line there. And we're going to set this up over here. We're going to put in a trash can. And we're going to set up a filter. And we're going to be sending it cobblestone. So we're just going to say whitelist cobblestone, and we'll just drop that in to there. We're going to say that your priority is 5 on your insert. Of course, it's only going to be able to accept cobblestone. Maybe some other stuff that we add later. And then we'll say that you can insert, leave it as priority of 0, and you can extract always active. And then we're going to say ignore And let's set the dimensions. We're going to say 150, and then we're going to say the offset is going to be 75, because that should cover the entire thing. You can see there's over 3 million blocks it needs to mine now. We'll just right click it into there, and everything else looks good. So we're going to go ahead and say start mining. Oh, okay. Wait a second. It's been a little while since I set one of these up. We need to go, so we'll put that there instead. Put one of our crates. There we go. Okay, so it's going to start pulling those items out. I'm probably going to need some upgrades for extraction speed, truth be told. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Set that to insert. Set that to insert. Set that to extract, always active. Okay, so it's going to start pulling the items out. It's not going to be able to keep up with this at all. That is fine. So let's go ahead and let me pop up real quick and go get some extraction speed upgrades. I don't know if we have any from quests or if I'll need to make them. If I have to make them, that's fine. Let's see. To make them, they are rather cheap, actually. Okay. Okay, there's 8. I think that's going to be good for us. And I got to thinking, and I totally derped. It's actually been a surprisingly long time since I've set up one of these quarries. I used to run them a lot, but it has been a ton of time. So we're actually going to just void the cobble. We'll keep the trash can plugged up in case, you know, we want to void something else, maybe. But no, we'll just void the cobble through the builder, so it just trashes all that. Because we can just pull this shape card out real quick. We can actually set this to void. We don't want stone, we don't want cobblestone, we don't want dirt or gravel, definitely not sand, and the rest of that's not going to come up, so we'll just put that back in there. And turn this back on. So there's that, and it's going to start trashing all that stuff for us. And then let's go ahead and on the extraction put some extract speed upgrades on there to help this guy out. This stuff, I'll keep the flint though. Okay, so far we've gotten a little bit of flint, a little bit of coal. Let's find out where is it mining at the moment, which we should get a bit of these Thumbcraft crystals as well, which will be nice. I'll definitely take those. Oh, you know what? I set it to mine upwards and not downward. Okay, 1 second. I need to set this to a negative offset. See, it's been a while. It has been a while. Alright, so we reinstall that. Yeah, now it's going to be digging down. That's what I want to see. And then we're going to say start up. Because it was clearing out up above us somewhere. Somewhere's about, but now it should be digging out down below us. Oh, there's blizzards that spawn here. It looks like, yeah, it's digging out this section here. Is where it has begun. But I was just thinking earlier, I was like, I want to set up some kind of a quarry at this point because we're going to be moving into things that take a lot of materials. And instead of going straight for a void quarry, realistically we're at a point where we could. But it has been a very long time since I've actually just done a proper quarry and just started eating the earth away. So I figured, well, we'll go ahead and do this. Now we could move into a fortune quarry, and we might. What's it take? Dimensional shards. And that is something I don't believe that we have. Yeah. We're going to have to wait for that. Until we go into space. There is a silk quarry, which also takes dimensional. Yeah, so we're just going to be running just a standard quarry for now. That's fine. It's not like the beneath is going to end, or the deep dark is going to end. So I think that will be okay for us. But did it start digging that out? Or no, I don't think so. Where's it at? What is it doing at the moment? Let me pop back over here. Unless it started on this side, which is, yeah, it started over here. Okay. Yeah, so if we take a look, there we go. It's eating through the ground, and it's giving us all the items. Is that a minecart? I believe that is a minecart. Alright. Let's take a look inside this minecart. Nothing that I really care to have, to be honest. So, alright. So it's running, and oh wow, yeah, it's rich in ores down here. Lots of diamonds, lots of gold. I see uranium, which is a beautiful sight. Some redstone. Sure, it's getting draconium at the moment. So let's pop up. Goodbye. And I'm going to pop back over to our... Where did my marker go? Oh, right there. I didn't see it. So, yeah. Okay. We need to do something about this. It looks like it did hit up a thing. Hit up a thing. I don't really want basalt, truth be told. So let me turn off the extraction for just a moment here. And let me put in basalt into this because we have basalt seeds. Actually, let me just take a minute here to go over our filters. This gravel we're not actually going to be getting. That was left over. The dirt we also shouldn't be getting. Limestone, marble. I think we have seeds for them. Yeah, I'm really just in the market right now for just the really good stuff. So let me grab marble, limestone. I think everything else I'm going to want to keep that I see coming in. So let me just add these into that filter. So there we go. That should be able to keep up once we get the other side set up. But wow, we're getting a ton of materials. Okay, so now at this point, that's good. We're going to leave that there. And we're going to pop up and take care of the overworld side of things. It's been too long since I said I use those for, generally now I think the majority of my use for them is I use them for like kind of weird things. Like our living wood setup and everything. It's been a while since I've done one of these quarries. Brings me back to the good old days, you know. Alright, so over here, what we're going to do, I guess for right now, until we push for ore processing, I think what I'm going to do is set this up to be kind of manual, just start stockpiling the metals. And we're going to set this up just out here for the time being. Until we start into our ore processing area. And actually, I think instead of having the ore processing area in there, I think I'd like to have it outside as like its own dedicated space instead of building it into there. Plus, I do want to make it rather large, I think. So yeah, I think we're going to have it be its own dedicated space after all. So we're just going to put up crates. I went ahead and went with medium. Larges are still a little bit expensive for us. So I'm not going to push on for larges just yet. So let's go ahead, and I'm not going to worry about priorities, I don't think. I'm just going to say that you can insert on all these. Because right now I just want to stockpile the materials. I don't really care too much about doing anything in particular with them right this second. And I know we got the stuff from the mine shaft, but that's going to be rare. So I'm not too worried about that. We are getting a little bit of draconium. 8, of course, of that was from me, but that's fine. But I like all these other things. Lots of iron. 10, I think. Yeah, 10's coming up. That's good because we're going to be using a bit of 10 before too long. Yeah, this will be good. I do need to get some speed upgrades crafted for this, though. So give me just a minute. Plus, I need to edit our footage and see exactly where we're at and what we have time for the rest of the episode. So I'll be right back. Okay, this ran for a little bit just while I was editing up footage, and everything is backed up. Literally everything is backed up all the way. This was the last one that filled up. This is filled up. I did put a weirding gadget over here just to make sure that this is chunk loaded so that our stuff can output and not back up the system. If we pop up, we'll go see what the quarry has ran. I did pull out a few stacks of ores just to dump them over at the smith, let them go ahead and start doubling for us. Because I have been getting low on materials, and I didn't do a ton of mining between episodes because I was like, well, we'll probably just set up a quarry. At this point, we've mined up to this point. Now I think it's time for a quarry because we're going to be moving into some expensive things soon. So if we take a look here, right now, our progress, we are on chunk 47 out of 108. And this is completely backed up also. Awesome. Yeah, and this is the space that it has dug out, which really isn't that much, all things considered, because we've only ran about half the space that we set, and we already have a bunch of metals, so we should be good on materials. I think eventually this deep dark is just going to be a big hole like that down to bedrock. There was a time when that just went into the void, but I guess that's not the case anymore. And actually the first few chunks, like the first 8 chunks, I think, were just those little like slivers. Those 1 block wide little bits of a chunk that were left over. So we have a lot of materials. Alright, so I do know it's actually about wrapping up point, unfortunately. I was wanting to get something else done today, but we did get into side and we got into our builders. Got ourselves a quarry set up. Next episode's probably going to be the speed build for the farm, and I'm thinking hopefully next week will be 2 episodes for Enigmatica, because there's a few things that I want to push on with. A couple upcoming things that we're going to be working on. Of course, we got the speed build coming up, and we're going to be doing some farm work within that episode as well. We're speed building out a bit of the farm, hopefully finishing the farm, not next episode, but in the upcoming episodes, finishing out a lot of the farm areas, and start tackling some of the landscaping parts of the farm, because we do need to get onto that, I think. How are we? Everything is, well, it's not running at the moment, but how's our power? I'm curious, after that ran for a bit, how is our power down here? Barely drained the MFSU, barely drained, and not really drained. So we're doing good on power. But it is draining, so once we start running the quarry non-stop, we probably will need to buff up power. But it seems like it's going to be able to run out a entire quarry without issue at the moment. But yeah, so we're going to be doing the farms, spend an episode, maybe 2. A lot of what we have over there is speed building at this point, so it might be projects in between. And I know next episode, the first bit of it's speed building, the back half of it is doing a quick setup over in that farm area. And a couple other things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be working over in the astral area before too long. We are going to be working over in this building before too long and automating Enderium so that we can kind of start working on finishing out this build and start setting up some of the stuff that's in these tubes here, these little spaces. But we're going to be attacking this build pretty heavy before too long and pushing into a bit of the magical mods. And I also want to set up our ore processing system because I think it's time. We've been using that little bitty smith this entire time, but since we're going to be moving into a quarry, we need to start moving into like mass ore processing. But usually I'm of the mind that mechanisms, quintuple, ore processing is a bit overkill for most things, because when you can run a quarry and get all this stuff, even if you're just turning these metals into single ingots, it's still a massive amount of materials coming in. If you start doing 5 times, it's just it's a ridiculous amount of materials. But since this pack is really not so much a progression series as it is just kind of a almost kitchen sinky, we're just building and doing things and just doing setups and stuff like that. We are going to be doing mechanisms processing because it has been a while for me. It's actually a fun process. It's just generally it's not needed, truth be told. It really won't be needed on here, that's for sure. But we're going to do it anyways. And we're going to try to make it, we're going to be making it extremely large. Probably the largest mechanism system that I think I've ever done. Ever. And it's going to be a pretty big monster setup. To the point that we will probably have to push into a little bit of power before we push into the mechanism stuff, or sometime in the middle of it, but we'll see how things go. But we're going to be doing, I think, just a large scale setup. Instead of just having like a little small setup inside the building there, we're going to be doing a large building, kind of like some of the other things that we've been doing. I also want to finish out the exterior of this building before too long as well, but we'll work on that. I've been working on the interiors, and they're starting to look pretty good, and just kind of building them out as we go, and we'll tack the outside again before too long. Anyways, I do believe we're going to end out this episode here. Like I said, next episode should be the speed build and a bit of farm work, and then probably another episode of Enigmatica next week. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.